What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today is Expanded Thursday, and today we're looking at one of the most requested decks, and that is Jolteon Archeops. This deck is really good because it shuts down both evolution decks and basic decks. You cover both of those, and if you can do that, you can pretty much beat everything, which I really do like a lot in this deck, and this is where I think Jolteon actually shines. I know a lot of people liked it in Standard, but I promise in Expanded it's the way to go. Alright, so Jolteon, we know... Oh, hold on, I gotta make this way. Okay, so we know what Jolteon does. It has the second attack flash rate. That's all we really care about. It does 70 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from basic Pokemon. So that means basic Pokemon cannot hurt you. That means Yveltal, Joltik, Pumpkaboo, Darkrai. I'm trying to think. That's like main guys right now. Toad, Giratina. Shaman, Sky Return can't hurt you. All these basic Pokemon cannot hurt your Jolteon EX if you Flash Ray, which is amazing. Now they can Lysander around it, maybe Escape Rope Lysander. There's tricks around to knock out Jolteon, but you can't constantly do this over and over again, and that's why Flash Ray is such a strong attack. But one thing we have to struggle with is evolution decks, and that's where Archeops comes in. Archeops has the ability Ancient Power, and it says each player can't play any Pokemon from their hand to evolve their Pokemon. So this means they can't evolve their Pokemon from their hand. Now your opponent can get around this with a Wally and or Evosoda, because both of those search your deck and evolve that way, which is pretty cool. You can get around it. A Frogadier, Water Duplicates can get around it, but they can't constantly, like, Wally and do Evosoda over and over again. Like, there's no way. They don't have that many resources in their deck to commit to do this over and over again. And H-Power is such a strong ability. Now, it does have 130 HP. If they're lucky, they could maybe knock out an Archeops, but you have such a great potential to get the Archeops back out, and you should be A-okay. So that's what we're going to do. Now, something that both these cards lose to is a Gallade. We know that Yveltal and Expanded does play a Gallade. They use Maxes to get it out, just like we use Maxes to get out the Archeops. But that is where Mewtwo EX comes in. Mewtwo EX has the attack X-Ball. It might seem kind of weird that we're playing one Mewtwo, but the only reason why is to knock out Gallades. X-Ball does 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to this Pokemon and the defending Pokemon. So let's say you have a DC on your Mewtwo, that's 20-40, and the Gallade has 2 energies on it, that's 60-80, times 2 is 160. And if you look at Gallade, we'll pull it up real quick. Here's Gallade. It is weak to Psychic and has 150 HP. So you can just X-Ball to knock out a Gallade, which is very cool. So there we go. That's why we're playing Mewtwo, to knock out Gallades. We play 2 Jirachis and 2 Shamans. Shaman has the ability to set up, draw to have 6 cards in your hand, and 2 Jirachi for Stellar Guidance. Now, the Jirachi is definitely Stellar Guidance for Maxie's turn 1, but later on you can search for maybe a supporter card if you need to. But Shaman is in here for late game. If your opponent ends you down to like 1 or 2, you can maybe get lucky, hit an Ultra Ball, get out Shebe, draw 2 the cards you need, and maybe win the game that way. The energy count's pretty simple. 4 DC and a Lightning. Jolteon just needs a Lightning and a DC to attack, which is pretty neat. Mewtwo just needs a DCE. Archeops has 2 retreat costs, which DC can help a lot. So let's go over the trainer cards. The first one is 4 Battle Compressors. With this, we're going to discard our Archeops, our Maxies, whatever you need, we're going to put them in the discard pile. 1 Computer Search, discard 2 cards from your hand, search deck for any Pokemon or any card, and put it into your hand. Now, usually when you start a turn 1 Computer Search, you probably have the turn 1 Maxies. Like 90% of the time, I'll say 90% of the time. If you have a Computer Search, you have the turn 1 Maxies, which is really cool, and I love Computer Search a lot. 4 Max Elixirs, which is really good in this deck. Look at the top 6 cards of your deck, attach a basic energy card you find there to a basic Pokemon on your bench, shuffle the other cards back into your deck. Now, it might seem kind of hard because, you know, you only have, what, the 4 Jolteons? You might be like, that's kind of hard to put down, but I promise it works. I promise, guys, this will work. You can also Ultra Ball for a Jirachi and maybe Max Elixir to it, or retreat to a Jirachi and Max Elixir to a Jolteon, which I think we showed in the game, if I remember correctly. I'm not 100% sure if that happens, but if it does happen, that is one trick you can do. For Puzzle Times, Puzzle Time is cool because we know Maxies. Well, let's pull up Maxies real quick before we talk about this card. Maxies, you can only play this card when it's the last card in your hand, and you put a fighting Pokemon from your discard pile onto your bench, then draw 5 cards. A lot of people have seen this, but just in case you don't know what it does, that's what it does. So what Puzzle Time can do is, if you only have one Puzzle Time in your hand, you can play it to try to say, hey, I have the maxis in this one Puzzle Time, so you can still use the first one, but the second one is where we're going to go for. If you play 2 cards, put 2 cards from your discard pile into your hand, and this is going to help you get like your DCs back, maybe like your supporter card, maybe a supporter card, maybe stadium, anything you need, you can get out with Puzzle Time, which is great, and that's why we play 4 of, and you can still use the first one to put 3 cards into your deck. 1 Super Rod to get back energies and our Pokemon. For the most part, it is getting back lightning energies for late game. I was considering cutting this, but there's sometimes you do need the Super Rod to do like weird Battle Compressor Maxis tricks, which, you know, it could work. 4 Trainers Mode, look at top 4 cards of your deck, pick a Trina card. This is going to help you get the turn 1 Maxis out pretty easy. 4 Ultra Ball, 4 VS Seeker. This is pretty much a staple in almost all decks, that 4-4-4 line. Alright, so we play 1 AZ. Put 1 Pokemon back into your hand, discard all cards attached to that Pokemon. And the reason why I play this AZ is because if you put down like a Jirachi, your opponent can AZ that out, take a knockout on an EX pretty easily. And AZ can say, no, you're not doing that. You're not taking a knockout on my EX Pokemon. I'm not going to allow that. So you can just pick up a Jirachi back into your hand after you use the Maxis. 1 Lysander, 2 Maxis, 1 in, which is really, really good. Each player shuffles their hand into deck and then draw a card for each prize card remaining. Now remember, I said that we're saving Shamus for a late game, so if you and your opponent both have like 2 1 cards, you can end your opponent down to 2, and then since you have all your Shamus in the deck, you can still draw into them, while usually your opponent plays them out early, so end could be very cool for you. 2 Juniper, you can play Sycamore, Juniper, it's up to you. 1 Rough Seas. Once during each player's turn, you can heal 30 damage from your water Pokemon. This is mainly for just put down a stadium, because you can put down a stadium, help get out the turn with Maxis if you have one in your hand. So that could be cool. I mean, your Jolteons usually aren't taking hits, so Rough Seas is usually just useless, but it helps get the turn with Maxis if needed. 1 Flowstone to get Archeops for your treat, or you can attach it to whoever, and 2 Muscle Bands, so you do 20 more damage to the act Pokemon, which is a really big deal. Because if you look at Jolteon, he only does 70 damage, so you can't even one-shot an Evital. You do 140, but with the Muscle Band, you can do 190. So that is my version of Jolteon. Archeops, nothing too spooky. The Mewtwo I like a lot to help it against Gallade. I'm not sure if it gives you, like, if it swings the magic all the way, but it should help out a lot. But there we go. There's Jolteon Mewtwo. I do like this deck a lot because like I said earlier, I mean, most of expanded, like Darkrai Evital, which you can beat unless they don't. I mean, unless they play Glade, it gets kind of weird, but you can still beat it. Greninja, which you have Archeops, Trevenant, which you have Archeops, Night March, you have Jolteon. Like that's the 4 biggest deck. Frizzy and Genesect. Frizzy and Genesect is actually a really weird deck because G-Booster gets through Jolteon EX. I'm like 99% sure. I'll show you why. If you didn't see the video yesterday from Legacy format, I'll pull up Booster real quick. G-Booster, 200 damage, is not affected by any effects on the defending Pokemon. So Verizia Genesect will actually be an auto loss for this deck. So Verizia Genesect will be probably the worst thing you can play. Toad, you just get out, Jolteon to win. They do play Crush Hammers, which could make things kind of weird, but you do play 8 Lightning and 4 DCs, so you should have enough to eventually just outspeed them maybe, or just out-resource them, just with your energies alone. And everything else, like I said, you have Jolteon for basic, Archeops for the evolutions. So there we go. Hopefully you enjoyed this list. I've had a lot of fun playing this deck. Shout out to Ryan from Team Magikarp. I'm like 99% sure that's his YouTube channel name, for lending me 2 Jolteons to use for this video. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and let's see the game right now. Alright, we're playing against Arc Z76, playing a all-water deck, which just... this probably means they're playing like a Blastoise deck. Like all waters definitely seems like a Blastoise kind of deck. Well, I don't know, because it could be Greninja. Ooh, yeah, that's probably what it is. Our opponent has no basic Pokemon, and if it's Greninja, we have a really highly likely chance of getting a turn 1 Archeops. Okay, so Rock Guard. Okay, so those are in the okay, but as long as Jirachi is in the deck, we have a turn 1 Archeops. So there's 2. Alright, so 2 cards being put into our hand. I might actually not get them because we already have the turn 1. We could double Max Elixir, use both of those. So no, we will actually not take these mulligans. And there's a Froakie and a Remoraid. And let's see, what does our opponent have? Now, our opponent obviously plays Wally, but is Wally enough to get around the Archeops or not? That is the big question. And let's see, oh no, an in! No, our opponent probably realized that we have a really good hand, so the opposite, you play in turn 1. Oh, that was really smart of our opponents. Alright, so we draw into pretty much nothing. Yep, this is pretty much nothing. Okay, not good. I mean, we had a good hand. But, I mean, we might still be able to get a turn 1 Archeops. Okay, so on our turn, we get a Battle Compressor. Alright, so we're going to Compressor. And with the Compressor, let's see. Alright, so we're going to discard how many Maxies are in our deck? That is a really big question right now. So there's 1, 2. Alright, so we discard Maxies, Archeops, and a Lightning Energy. No, not Lightning Energy. Okay, we'll discard an N. I think those are 3 good cards to discard. And we need to hit an Ultra Ball with this Trainer's Mail. Come on, Ultra Ball. Come on, buddy. Come on, Ultra Ball. And another Battle Compressor. Alright, so we almost had the turn 1, but then we kind of whiffed it. So we'll play Battle Compressor. We'll put it down. We'll discard, let's see. I guess AZ, Lysander, and then maybe the other Gallade if it's in here. I mean, the Archeops, sorry, not Gallade. So we'll discard those 3, okay. We will Muscle Band, one of the Jolteons will Flowstone. Actually, we'll just discard the Flowstone because we could puzzle time for the 2 Flowstones. And let's see, what do we get? Alright, so we'll Max Elixir. Getting a Lightning onto the Jolteon. Let's Max Elixir again. Come on, Lightning Energy. And yo, wow, we still get the turn 1 Flash Ray, which is great. So we at least take a knockout this turn. So we'll put those 2 guys down. We will retreat. And we will still get a turn 1 Flash Ray, even though we whiffed the Archeops. So 90 damage. We'll take a card. Going down to 5. Hey, there's a DCE. But we still don't have a turn 2 Archeops, which is kind of weird to say. If we hit an Ultra Ball, we'd be okay. We might have to puzzle of time for a double Trainer's Mill to try to hit an Ultra Ball. There's a Water Energy to the active, and we will see Water Duplicates get out 3 Frogadiers. Alright, so Water Duplicates coming down. Gonna get 3 Frogadiers out into play. Alright, so we see, yep, 3 Frogadiers, and we need to get a Ultra Ball right here. Okay, a Lightning Energy, that's not what we needed to see. That's definitely not what we needed to see. Okay, because now, if we get an Ultra Ball, we can still get it. Okay, yeah, if we get an Ultra Ball, we can still get it. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna look. So we're gonna use, how many Trainers Mail in here? Just the 1. I was hoping there would at least be 2, but there's not. So let's puzzle time. We'll play 2 copies. 1 will be for the Trainer's Mail. And then the other one will be for a Battle Compressor. We'll discard more cards out of our deck. Alright. So we will Trainer's Mail. And, oh man, okay, we got Computer Search. Doesn't matter, we got a Computer Search. I kind of messed it up looking for the Ultra Ball. So we will Computer Search, discard a Lightning and the VS Seeker. And let's see, what can we get out? I mean, I might just get out a Max Elixir to thin the deck out. Yeah, so we'll grab a Max Elixir. Look at the top cards. Looks like nothing is in there. We'll put a DC onto the Jolteon. We'll Battle Compressor, discard just 1 card. We'll discard a Maxies because after this, it really doesn't matter. So we'll discard the Maxies, and we will VS Seeker for the Maxies, and there we go. So we got 8 Archeops out to play. So now our opponent cannot evolve anymore from their hand, but they can still use Wally. So we'll get the Archeops out, okay? We'll draw 5 new cards. And we will Flash Ray for the knockout, going down to 4. Now our opponent can still play like Hex Maniac. That could get around Archeops. So we'll go down to 4 prize cards. There's a DC coming to our hand. And let's see what happens. A Frogadier comes up. We've only played 2 puzzle times. Yeah, only 2 puzzles have came down. And there's a Trainer's Mail. Gonna look at the top 4 cards of their deck. Gonna get a VS Seeker. There's nothing really in there that I guess they can grab an in, but that doesn't really help them that much. Unless they have a Battle Compressor in the deck, or in their hand. If they have a Battle Compressor, They can discard a Wally, use the VS Seeker for a Wally, and then use Octillery to draw some more cards with the Abyssal Hand. So let's see what happens. There's a Abyssal Hand. Gonna draw one card, and is it a Wally or not? If it's not, our opponent's gonna be in big trouble. Alright, so we've used 2 VS Seekers and 2 Wallies. Hey, there's a Lysander bringing up the Archeops. We have DCs in our hand. We can just retreat. On our turn, we get a Jolteon, so put a DC down. We will retreat into the Jolteon. We will use Trainer's Mail. Look at the top 4 cards of our deck. I guess we'll grab a Battle Compressor. Yeah, we'll just discard more cards out of our deck that we don't need anymore. So Battle Compressor, we'll discard like Ultra Ball, and then the one puzzle time is prized. I would discard another Ultra Ball because we really don't need those anymore. We could maybe search for like a Jirachi. So we'll discard a Battle Compressor, a Rough Seas, and we'll discard one Jirachi. That seems fine. And we will Flash Ray for 90. Alright, so taking another knockout. So go down to 3 prize cards. And let's see, what do we get? Hey, a Puzzle Time. There we go. So if we get the other Puzzle Time, we can put a Floodstone onto the Archeops as well as getting a DCA out. We know there's a VS Seeker in their hand, so it looks like they will try to VS Seeker. Bring up the Archeops one more time. A Water Energy to the active. And do they have a Wally or not? That is the question. Let's see, what does our opponent have? Do they have anything or not? Abyssal Hand drawn 1 card. Can they find a Wally or not? That's the big question. There's a VS Seeker. Could grab a Lysander in. They will once again grab a Lysander. I guess bring up the Archeops. It doesn't really matter. Because, I mean, like, they can't evolve. Hey, there's Puzzle Times anyway. So let's Puzzle Time. I put 2 copies into our hand. We will grab a Floatstone. And let's just grab a VS Seeker. Alright, so we'll grab those 2 into our hand. We'll Floatstone the Archeops. Free retreat into the Jolteon. I almost clicked the wrong Jolteon. And we will Flash Ray. I'm going to hold on to the DCs just in case our opponent does Lysander, bring up somebody, and then maybe like Megaphone, like both those combinations. Another VS Seeker comes in our hand. Another Frogadier is promoted, and it looks like it might be game over for our opponent, which you can see how strong Archeops is. Just sitting there saying, hey, you're not going to evolve. I'm sorry about that. Like, my opponent did get like a turn 2 Frogadier, getting all his Frogadiers out into play. But things are not looking good for her. And my opponent concedes the game saying, hey, there's really no way I can win. I don't have a Wally. I have a probably like, what, a Sycamore or something else. And we would have won that game. But we'll see one more game with the deck here in a second. Let's see what our mystery prize is going to be. It is just 2 tournament tickets. But if you give me a second, we'll see one more game with the deck. And let's see what happens. Alright, opponent is Zero Gone Wolf playing a Psychic, Colors, Grass, and a Lightning deck. This might actually be a Night March Vespa Queen deck. That's what I think it is. And let's see, we won the coin flip, so we will go first. Yes, we like to go first. And let's see what happens. What turn 1 do we have? Alright, so we actually have a turn 1 Archeops right now. Like, we have the turn 1. Oh, no, we don't. No, actually, we don't. Oh, man. Okay, so there's a Shaman start. Okay, so we are going to... We could Battle Compressor. We could discard. We just can't Max Elixir right now, which is the problem. Alright, so let's Battle Compressor. We're going to discard the Maxis. We'll discard a Archeops and... The other Archeops, if it's in here, and let's see, is the other Archeops in the deck? And it does not seem like the other Archeops is in the deck. Not that really big of a deal. We do have the one, so that's okay. I guess we'll discard a Lysander. Yeah, we'll discard those 3. And with the Trainer's Mail, if we hit a VS Seeker, we'll be A-okay. Because we can just, you know, use Maxis right now. So let's Trainer's Mail. Can we hit a VS Seeker and we get a Muscle Band? That is not what we needed. Okay. Alright, so what we're going to have to do is we can grab the Muscle Band, that's okay. And we're going to have to do something weird. We are going to Ultra Ball, discard Juniper and Max Elixir. We're going to get out the Jirachi, because I know it's in the deck. And we're going to Jirachi for the Maxis, because I know the other one's in the deck as well. So let's use Jirachi, use Stellar Guidance. We'll get out of Maxis. And what we're going to do is we're going to free retreat into Jirachi. We will use a Max Elixir, put a Lightning Energy. Hey, there we go. Lightning Energy onto that guy. We will Muscle Band, DCE, and we will max his hidden ball trick, getting the turn 1 Archeops. Now, our opponent can take a knockout on the Jirachi, which is kind of scary, but if they do that, we have a Super Rod. Never seen my opponent concede in the game. They must have been playing Night March, like I said. If it is Night March, we pretty much would have won that game fairly easy. We get a mystery prize, and there's another turn 1 Archeops, and a turn 1 Maxis. A turn 1 Maxis, and a turn 1 Jolteon, which is pretty nice. But I guess we'll see one more game with this deck, and hopefully our opponents do not concede the game. Let's see what our mystery prize is going to be, and it is going to be 100 tokens. Hey, that's pretty good. But give me one more second, and hopefully our opponent will not concede the game, and hopefully we'll have another great match. Alright, opponent gets Pao Kenho playing a Night March deck. It was Psychic, Lightning, Colors, which definitely is an indication of Night March, and we won the coin flip, so we will get to go first. I'm not sure how much Archeops really matters in this matchup. Okay, my opponent has no basic Pokemon. We have a Mewtwo, which gets just destroyed by Night March. Alright, so we'll put Mewtwo up, we'll press done. And let's see, what does our opponent have? There's a Hex Maniac, DCE, Megaphone, Puzzle of Time. Alrighty, so it definitely shows it's a Night March deck. Like 100% is a Night March deck. Alright, so they put down a Pokemon. And I guess we'll have to give up at least one knockout. Yeah, we'll draw a card for the mulligan. There's a Puzzle of Time. We'll press done. And there is a Jolteon. So we are going to go second, okay? Alright, so... Oh, man, we have a really interesting turn. Alright, so we're going to Ultra Ball. Discard an Ultra Ball and a Shaman. Okay. With this, we're going to grab a Jolteon. And I think I'm just going to pass. Which might seem weird. We have Battle Compressors. Hey, you have Battle Compressors, you have Puzzle Time. And yeah, we're just going to end our turn and see what happens. On to our opponent's turn. Maybe we should have put down another Pokemon if they, like, get a crazy turn. Fighting Fury Bell going to the active. If they play Escape Rope, this could have been a misplay. If they play Escape Rope, my opponent does the O-Face. And there's an Escape Rope. I was kind of worried about that. As soon as I said they get Escape Rope, they play the Escape Rope. And on to our turn. Alright, so cool. So we get a Flowstone. Alright, so we're going to Battle Compressor. We're going to discard a Jolteon and a DCE. And a Sycamore. Yeah, so we'll discard those three. And I'll show you what we can do. We'll computer search, discard 1, 2. We are going to grab a Puzzle of Time. Come on down, Puzzle of Time. Alright, so grab those two. We will double Puzzle Time for a Jolteon and a DCE. And all we need is a Max Elixir, and we'll be A-okay. So let's grab a Jolteon. And where's the DC? There we go. So we'll grab those two. We will put down the Jolteon. Put down the DCE, and we will Via Seeker for for the Juniper. Sorry. So Juniper, we're going to discard our hand. And can we find a Max Elixir or not? That's the question. Okay, and we'll just end our turn onto our opponent's turn. Okay, alright, so that was not good for us. That was not good for us at all. But all my opponent really did last turn was just Escape Rope and pass. And my opponent says Sad Face. I guess they were trying to give us the win. But we did not give us... I'm sorry, opponent. I'm sorry I let you down. So there's an Ultra Ball. I'm going to discard a Teammates and a Lampent. And let's see what two cards they're going to get. So Shaybe coming on down. Now they will need a Lyster to take a knockout on this Jolteon. And what I can do next turn is I can AZ pick up the Mewtwo, put a Lightning Energy to the Jolteon EX, and be A-okay. Because then my opponent can't take a knockout on that Mewtwo. So we'll choose Shaman. Setting up for 6. Right now, Night March is only doing 20 damage. Another Jolteon does come out into play. We see a Battle Compressor. Go ahead and discard 3 cards from their hand. I can't believe I called like the turn 1 Escape Rope. Like, that was just silly of me. But I mean, I had such a cool hand to do stuff with. That's why I kind of just like put the Jolteon and just press and just, oh my goodness, I can't talk. The Jolteon down and pass. But here we see a Battle Compressor. Gonna discard 3 cards out of their deck, and let's see what they decide to discard. And the question is, do they play Zerosic? Zerosic could get rid of our DCs and make things kind of weird when we can't Flash Ray. So we'll see what happens. We're waiting for this Battle Compressor, and let's see what our opponent decides to do. With this Battle Compressor, what 3 cards will they discard? They have discarded the Teammates so far. But it looks like, hey, they do play Zerosic. Oh my goodness. Alright, so there's Zerosic coming down. There's a VS Seeker. They can easily go for the Zerosic right now, and that's what we're seeing, Zerosic coming down. And we will see Night March doing 20, 40, 60. So Xerosic discarding the DCE, and things are going to start getting weird. There's a Fighting Fury Belt to this Joltik, and we'll see a Night March doing, what, 70 damage? Alright, on our turn. Oh my goodness gracious. Help me, Pokemon. Oh, we have so many lightning energies in our hand. Alright, so we're going to put a lightning energy in this guy. And we will just end our turn. 2, 4, 5. Let's AZ pick up Mewtwo, like I said. And then we'll pass, okay? Our opponent can't take a knockout yet on this Jolteon. It will need some more cards. Oh, man. Why do we have so many lightning energies? Alright, so Battle Compressor, gonna discard 3 more Pokemon. And that will take a knockout. They could do 100 damage this turn if they discard 3 Pokemon. 2 would be a knockout, actually, because they're doing 70, then plus 2 more. Actually, just 1 more. Yeah, just 1 more to be a knockout. Sorry. Forget that he has 160 HP. But, let's see. We see some 3 Night Marches being discarded, okay? So we'll see a Night March for the knockouts. And the question is, do we VS Seeker for a Sycamore, hoping to hit, he says GG, LOL? Maybe. But we'll see a Night March taking the knockout. Then we VS Seeker for a Sycamore, hoping to hit a DCE. So Night March going to knock us out, okay. And I guess we just have to get lucky with this top deck. Can we find a DC or not? On to our turn. Hey, we get a DC top deck. There we go. That's what I like to see. And we will just Flash Ray for 70. Taking a knockout. We'll go down to 4 prize cards. 5. There's a Max Elixir. Okay. And we'll see Jolteon come up to the active spot. Now he says GG. Alright, so he says GG. I guess he's not going to go for the Xerosic play. So Shaman coming up. He gets Sky Return, maybe? Let's see. Maybe Xerosic is still scary. Alright, so he can still get Xerosic, discard the DC. There's a Puzzle Time. And if he has 2 Puzzle Times, he could Xerosic this turn. Let's see what he decides to do. There's a Trainer Spell. Can he find the other Puzzle of Time? If he can't, we can put a Lightning Energy to the active and pretty much be A-okay because we constantly just Flash Ray over and over again, which is great. But let's see what the Trainer Spell gets our opponent. The Ultra Ball. Let's see what the Ultra Ball gets our opponent. It could be another Shebe to help set up to find that VS Seeker for Xerosic. I think that's the best play he wants to do. But let's see what happens. There's a Puzzle Time. Does he have 2 of them? That's the question. Does he have double Puzzle of Time this turn? If he does, we might be in trouble. Alright, let's see what Puzzle Time gets in. Is it 1 or 2? I can never tell with this. Because it only puts 1 down. So I can never tell if he's using 1 or 2. Oh, man, let's see. If he did have an Ultra Ball in his hand, and he did have 2. Oh, man, so Xerosic and a Fighting Fury Belt will come down into play. Oh, man, so there's an Ultra Ball discarding a Fighting Fury Belt and a Megaphone. Probably getting down another Shaman, I imagine. Okay, Jolteon comes down. So they're going to DCE Sky Return. I imagine that's what they're going to do. So Jolteon comes down. We'll see a Xerosic most likely. Yep, going to discard the DC. And what's their last card in the hand? Is it a DC or not? Will they Sky Return to pick the Shaman back up to their hand and just a pass onto our turn? Okay. So we get a Puzzle of Time when we have 2 already discarded. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do, it's going to seem kind of weird, but I think it's the best play we have. I'm going to put a Mewtwo down. We will Energy the active, retreat into the Mewtwo, and Max Elixir. Getting a Lightning Energy onto this guy, okay. And we can go for a VS Seeker trying to hit. Well, the Flow Stone's already discarded. That's not good. Alright, so we'll press. Wait, oh my goodness, I just remembered something. And what we can do now is we can VS Seeker for AZ. Almost forgot about this play. So we'll AZ, pick up this Mewtwo, and now pretty much win the game. We'll send her the Jolteon, and we will Flash Ray. Almost did not see that play. Oh my goodness, I forgot about AZ. AZ just saved us the game. Alright, so we'll take 2 prize cards. And, he says impossible! Oh no! Oh no, my opponent says impossible. Okay, so DC to the active, and there's really not much he can do. There's a Dimension Valley coming down, and we'll see a Night March for nothing, maybe. But there we go, man. That was crazy. Like, I was like, oh, man, we have nothing to do. He sends a smiley face over being a good sport. Even though, like, Night March has such a bad Night March, has a bad matchup against this deck, we are still taking the win. We had kind of a rough start. We will Flash Ray for the knockouts. Maybe we should attach a Lightning Energy just in case he plays a Team Flare Gun. There's a puzzle time coming down, so we have 2 puzzle times in our hand. On to our opponent's turn. Let's see what happens. Do they have anything or not? A Fighting Free Belt to the active. And on to our turn, we will... hold on, let's... should we be cute? No, let's just Muscle Band, and we'll say GG. Alright, so there we go. We'll Flash Ray, taking the knockout against Night March. And there you go. You can see how strong of a deck this is. I mean, game 1, we beat a Greninja deck, which is a setup deck, and you have Archeops to shut that down. Even though they have Wally and maybe Hex Maniac, where you can still win that game pretty easily. In this game, we'll play against Night March, which is another just almost auto win. And I think AZ is such a good card, and so many people aren't playing it. As you saw right there, AZ saved us like so many times. And let's see, what do we get off the mystery prize? Well, hopefully it's something good. Come on, and just 4 tournament tickets. But there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching Expanded Thursday. Hope you have a great Thursday. Make sure you test out this deck before regionals. I think it might be a great play. But thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day. Alrighty, bye.